I'm long-winded. And if you don't know that by now, I should put a disclaimer. That brown bat is long-winded. If you can't handle it... What's up, everybody? This is That Brown Bat, here for another episode of Mod Messin'. And today, I'm going to show off this awesome light mod that will be included in BB Mod version 1.1 when I'm ready to release it. So, just for reference purposes, I'm going to go briefly over what I did. So, each game asset has a bunch of files associated with its model. These include the AP, BTD, BTM, MTB, OCT, VXL, iBuff, and VBuff files. My focus here is on the OCT file. So what I did was I decrypted the OCT file of an existing light-emitting object, in this instance the Lone Ranger lamp pole, by using the free Python-based Cars2 modding program. Once I opened it up, I searched for the term point light, which is all one word, and then I copied its code, which goes from the preceding primitive, in brackets, all the way down to the asset pool line, in brackets. Then I added the copied code to the object which I wanted to give the light source to. When finished, I of course encrypted the modded file and placed it in the applicable folder, overriding the original file. Tested it umpteen bazillion times, and here I am making this video to show off this.
Oh, hey, there you are. Hi, I'm Tinkerbell. It's very nice to meet you.
Alright, so here we are in a Nightmare Before Christmas toy box, and there are more mods that you're going to see here than you've seen before, and I have a couple other toy boxes that I'm going to show off. So depending on the sky dome and the light intensity of the sky dome, you're going to get different effects of the lights regarding whether or not they really stand out or are subtle. Anyway, so look at this in the takeout sky, and everything is intensified. Intensify forward firepower! Alright, so watched Empire Strikes Back too much. Or was it Return of the Jedi? I don't remember. Alright, so yeah, and you'll see I gave the Halloween Town stairs an emission. Yes, the bricks are different. I finally got off my laurels to do that. Oh, and I did some mod changing. And so you look right here. It's no longer that lantern. It is now a wooden lamp that I found in the files that I don't even think it's used anywhere. It's in the Toy Box Speedway. I'm like, well, this is smaller than that big old thing that sticks out like a sore thumb. So I gave this emission, and in order to get this in, of course, I used a replayer trick, as I do many other times. And so now it has emission, and because this particular one is usually recessed back into a wall, I have it giving more of an emission, as much of an emission as a street pole, but I don't think I have it as bright. So anyway, that's that. So I did adjust some sky domes, of course. So I was going to make another video on this. If I do, it's going to be for reference. So if we go to Misty Magic Sky, it's still going to have the same music, but for copyright reasons I don't have it. Alright, so Misty Magic Sky, check this out, is now like a early morning foggy sky. And this is based off one of the Marvel Battlegrounds, and I don't even know if it's in the final version, but it's one of the, it's tagged as Ultron 1 or to Ultron A or something like that. And there's a couple sky domes like this, but this one actually doesn't have a black hole in the bottom, so I'm like, yes. And then I just changed the lighting, again using the OCT file, just like I did with the objects that I showed. But it's a little bit different, but with modding and programming, pretty much everything is based on the same concept. And that's why I'm always looking at concepts. You know all the concepts, you can rule the world. So I have this one, I call this early morning. That's me, that's what I call it. And then I have adjusted also Mickey's Bright Blue Sky, which is either dusk or right before, right after, when it gets morning. I'll show this off later on. I don't know what you call it. There's dusk and then early morning after early morning when the sun starts to come out. Sunrise! Oh my goodness! In version 1.0, I had this, but now we have the light sources, and the light sources are kind of necessary for the new Twilight because it's so dark, and it really makes it pop. All right, see, I stuck that one right in there, and it looks natural. Yeah, so I really like this. Of course, you're seeing some trees here. I did some modding. I'll do another video on the new cluster models, but you've already seen the trees, but there's a couple more surprises that I have. But yeah, so putting this in the forest is pretty sweet. Like, so lots of different things you can do in order to build something grand, but keeping it small, because I have maxed out, even with the mod, I maxed out a toy box that if I load it, it won't load unless I have the build out going on. So anyway, I'm not going to load that one. All right, so back into the pyramid test. And you remember last time I was here, I mentioned something that Login Productions had mentioned with the fire, with the Pirate Town torches. But now look at that. I gave the Pirate Town torches their own emission. Now, will this bog down the memory? Not as much as you think. If you go all out like a crazy person, yes. But with the mod, you should be good as long as you stick to... I'm going to get into the parameters using the mod. But I'm thinking a 48 by 48 layout, you should be fine without it crashing. I mean, Disney Infinity is going to crash no matter what. You look at it wrong and it crashes when you're building. Playthrough very rarely crashes. Building is when it crashes. A lot of times when you're using the path creators, when you're building. I've been discussing that for years. But anyway, we'll get into that as time permits in different episodes.
I'm here. Come on.
All right, so I have white lights and I have yellow lights, and I have a red light. And the Halloween or orange light. Now, I didn't do that with every light source. This one did not get the treatment because, and I'm not going to dig the footage out. I do have footage, but it's a 6-hour video, and I'm not going to go through and find out where it is. But this one, when you do the edit on the Pirate Doc's tall lamp, it alters it. So you keep the light source up here, but it'll throw the model down like 10 feet below where it actually is. So I left that one alone. And one of the incredible street lamps I left alone because it's funny, it actually duplicates it. And it has no collision on the duplicate, but it's weird. And so I'm not going to do that. Here it is. So the basic one, which would come in handy, but it doubles it. So I'm like, well, if it's going to double it.
That's right. I'm a fairy who can fly.
You're a pixie. Pixies aren't fairies. So we already have a double street light, so I just added it to that. And I think this one is the bright, actually, it's the second to the brightest. This is the next brightest. And this is the third, as far as radius goes. So you can see this one hits the walls on each side. And this one only hits one behind it. So this one's wider. I mean, I could change it, but I just figured this one's based on gaslight. This one's based on electricity, I think. I don't know. Could be a gaslight. So I just tried to make differences based on headcanon. So this Pirates one, of course, doesn't give off as much light as this. This gives off more light because I always stick this in the wall. Sometimes I stick this one in the wall, but these kind of aren't intended to stick in the wall. So if you stick it in the wall, you're going to get less light coming out. So I just tried to make it do with make amend or make it, yeah, fix it. And on the barrel one, I gave this, I think, the smallest amount or next to smallest amount. So this one right here had a headlight originally, and it was very subtle. And so I kept it subtle. I just changed it from white to yellow and dimmed it down a bit, because this isn't your primary light source for something. You know, I could make it bigger. You know, of course, some of these might get adjusted later on in time. So if you bring this over, oh, now you can see the door. And if I want this to go inside it, of course, I'm pretty sure you've seen me do that in other episodes, but putting the small one there, see how much you get off it. And of course, it makes a difference. And then over here inside this mini pyramid, I have a light source in there. What is it? What is it? What is it? It is a tiki torch. Forgot about those. I'm glad I walked in here because I would have forgot to show you this. All right, so now you got a tiki torch. So you have tall, and then you have the regular one, and then you have the small one. So the tall one, I have the emission on. This one I didn't touch. I don't know why, but I just figured, why do them all? So if I need these ones, this is what you can do. This is what I made applicable here. It's like, oh, I'm building in the brown bat mod, and these are eating all the resources. Okay, well, take the short tiki torch, which I increased it really big, so it doesn't get the entire toy box, but it'll at least take it down to where you would only need like 4 maybe light sources in your toy box, and maybe hide these in a structure. You know, maybe hide it in here or something like that, or bring it down, and it's going to dim a little bit like that, but it's still going to have light, because look at this. All right, so if I delete it, see, so it actually will still do something. So if I just hide it out of the way and maybe go over to certain corners in the toy box, it's going to give me point lights. You know, if I didn't want to use these, you know, if I just wanted to build something without lights, I could still do that. Because, again, they hog up resources, but they are, of course, the more you put in there,
I wonder if everyone here is having as much fun as I am.
It's going to make everything else brighter, or, you know, so you just got to do it. Test it out if that's something you want. You can use any combination of these. And then there's another one. If you go to, it's under, I can only find it under unfiltered. I guess it's under the city set. This one is the same idea as the yellow ones, but it's white light. And the model here I don't like, so, you know, I might change the model to something else later on, but until then, you know, stick it somewhere that's, we usually have a pocket hidden in a toy box for your game mechanics, your logic. Yeah, see, so that light just encompasses the entire toy box, or pretty much. So if I delete it, let's put it back. And then if you need another one, actually you can hide it in a building or a wall. And that makes the dark toy box lighter, if that's something that you need. So if I delete it, see, just so I could shut the lights off. And, you know, it might make a difference if you're doing an alleyway and you have too much shadow, but you want it to be nighttime. When I hit this, it's going to go through some of the skyboxes and of course change the shadow directions and everything and the intensity of the light, because brighter light is going to decrease the amount of the point lights. Darker, it's going to increase them, of course. So I have it set to change every 30 seconds. So we got dusk now, or sunrise. I think it's going in the direction of dusk. All right, whatever. All right, and this is what actually prompted me to start monkeying with the sky domes, is I built this toy box, and I'm like, I could not get the appropriate atmosphere. All right, I gotta fix some things because I changed a lot of things. There's not supposed to be trees here. I have to change a bunch of these toy boxes. It's supposed to be the fences, but these used to be the fences, and now they're not. So this isn't supposed to be a forest right here. We'll deal with that in a different video. But anyway, it's supposed to be early sunrise in this particular area that I recreated, and I couldn't get it. Well, now I have it. So happy about that. All right, so now let's check out one more sky dome, and then I'll go to one more toy box after this. So certain toys were made with certain sky boxes in mind. It's not going to change. I don't have the disc on. So I made it darker. That's all I did. Something I've been wanting to figure out how to do for years. If you've been following me, you'd know I've probably mentioned that a couple times, which is why I always use the Syndrome Sky. But now... So I went through this one, and I wanted to make sure, because the Bloodborne town crashes. And I'm like, well, this one crashes without the mod, but it doesn't crash with the mod, which is good. Bloodborne crashes with the mod, even though I removed the sewer water. So if you put the build out back on, then it'll load, but I don't like that. So I wanted to see how far I can push it. And can I get this toy box to crash? Yeah, I can get any toy box to crash. But Bloodborne toy box is twice as big as this. Again, I have to find my limits, and I think going 48 by 48 or something like that. Again, I'll address that in a later one. But I put all the lights in here, and I put townspeople in here, and it still loads, so I'm good. And I don't get any lag. And of course, if I put 1,000 enemies in here, of course I could get it to lag. We don't want to do that, but we do have limitations on Disney Infinity, but removing the program limitations gives us more of opportunity. So let me get the townspeople to load in, and it's going to kick off a day-night cycle, and it's going to go through 5 or 6. Well, I also have alternate nighttime skybox. So it's either going to go to the really dark twilight, it's going to go to the green dragon one, or it's going to go to the Syndrome takeover sky. So it's going to go to one of those three when it gets to night, and then it'll go back to morning. So I have it hooked up to a randomizer on that last circuit before it replays. If you're interested. but I believe this is sunrise. Yeah, sunrise, because I can see the orange light coming through right here, you know, for sunlight. Then I might change this one for high noon, which is your basic Disney Castle sky. I haven't decided that yet. All right, so we're getting closer to nighttime. Which will the night sky be? The classic one, okay. Well, basic nighttime. Really dark. You can only see with lights. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Suggest things or don't suggest things. Whatever. If you have any questions, make sure that you give me a detailed question and I'll do my best to answer it. If it's not detailed, then I don't know what you're asking. Like, I tried it. It didn't work. What did I do wrong? I won't answer it because I don't know. Yeah, I don't answer those questions. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, until next time, remember to keep on modding, keep on messing, keep on building, and we will see you guys in the next episodes.